Today we're conquering the Great Hill and we're gonna pick some more mushrooms. Now I kind of regret this, but in my last mushroom picking video I was picking the small ones as well, which I don't usually do. It's just that I thought there was gonna be more frost so they wouldn't have any, chance of surviving, so I might as well pick them. But then, magically, we haven't had any frost in like 2 weeks, so I'm gonna see if there's any new ones. First, we must get up this hill and into the woods safely without falling and dying. It's very slippery. One of these days I'm gonna slip and seriously hurt myself, but it is not this day. I'm out of breath now. I think I'm just gonna have to enjoy the fresh air and take a little break. I'm also on moss territory, so it is quite slippery here. Because this is just, as you can see, it's just growing on rock. You can easily have to navigate down here, and it's just very slippery everywhere I go. Because there's been a lot of rain in the past couple of days, which also with the lack of frost is gonna help the mushrooms. They need moisture and for it to not be too cold. Yeah, the reason why I brought a lid this time is because last time when we used the mushroom basket, there were several times when I slipped and did that, and then they all went flying and I had to pick them up again. So I'm gonna try to avoid that on the way back this time. I'm also thinking about doing a series on famine food. So if that would be of interest to any of you, do let me know. For example, Scandinavian bark bread. The reason I haven't done it yet is because I believe it to be more than just a one-day project. So, because I would have to, harvest the bark and the right type of bark and dry it and make flour out of it and stuff like that. Since I'm doing daily videos, I don't think it's a one-day project, but I do want to do it. I wish I would have brought a mushroom book with me, because there are several little guys here that are growing, but they're not what I'm looking for, and I'm not sure if they're edible or not. I think not, and of course I don't want to risk it, and if they are, I don't want to pick them when they're this small. I want to come back later. So I'm gonna have to get a mushroom book and give that a read, because the only kinds I'm familiar with are normal golden chanterelles, winter chanterelles, and another mushroom which name Swedish is taggsvamp, but I'll put the English name somewhere on the screen. Now, even if I don't find any mushrooms, it's just extremely relaxing to be out here, because I've lived my whole life either next to a city or in a city, and it can get quite stressful, as I'm sure many of you know, and stress doesn't exist out here. I mean, of course, privately it does, but in the woods, the woods aren't stressed, There's not millions of people rushing to and from their buses and stuff like that, It's just me and some trees. Just as I stopped, I didn't step on this, but I saw it laying down here, and this is definitely what I'm looking for. A winter chanterelle. You can see by the thin yellow stem, that pattern underneath, and then the hole in the middle. And if you feel, and you can even see it because it's broken, but the stem is hollow. I found one more, that one at the bottom, and somewhere down there, you can't really see it, there's a tiny one, so I'm going to leave that one and see if I'm lucky enough that it's still here in a few weeks. Well, I found some more. This is what I would... this is just barely medium size. Had it been any smaller than this, I wouldn't have picked it. And then there's that. You have to be taking it really slow when you're out picking mushrooms and look wherever you go, because it's so easy to miss, really, because they blend in with nature. I've had people stop me when I'm picking in groups, because sometimes, I walk by clusters of them. Here's a group of small ones, so I'm not going to touch that. We're mainly looking for winter chanterelles because out of the ones we're looking for, so golden, winter, and the tug swamp that I mentioned, the winter chanterelles are the hardest to spot. What's this? No, that's not it. Like in a green landscape like this, you will see the golden ones stand out pretty easily. But as you can see, there's a mix of brown and green. And the winter chanterelles, they grow from like deep beneath the moss. So sometimes you only see the tip, kind of, even if they're big. So they can be a little bit hard to spot. Another thing you have to watch out for is poop and poop. You don't want to sit down and like deer poop when you're picking mushrooms. I'm going to have to risk it though, because I see that right next to you there is a tug swamp. Hello, poop. Oh, I didn't get all of it. That sucks. There's a mushroom. Oh, sorry. There's a mushroom underneath the shit. Oh no. I'm just gonna have to give that one up. Say it's a lost cause. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry that I disappointed you. Sometimes I think about like, how did we find out like if every single mushroom was edible or not? Did someone just did you just get like a research group together and be like, yo, so we already know these couple. You can eat those, you can't eat those. But we have about 200 more that we need to test, so please put them in your mouth. Or like, what would happen if such documents were lost? We have to start over. I have absolutely no idea what mushroom this is, so if there happens to be an expert watching this, please do let me know so I can know if it's possible for me to pick it in the future. I found another few. I'm not sure what the white spots on them are. I'll make sure to research that later, but it should be fine. And okay, yeah, good, it's still attached. So there's a small one here and two small ones there, so I'm gonna let those stay, and I'm gonna be back in a week or so, and hopefully they'll be bigger. But we've only been in for like half an hour, and so far we're making some pretty decent progress. Another important thing about the mushrooms I just showed you is that I was walking on that path over there, and I looked over and I saw them, and I was like, no, those aren't winter chanterelles. They're not what I'm looking for. Then I went to take a closer look anyway, and then I saw a smaller one next to it. I was like, well, that's a winter chanterelle. And then I gave them a closer inspection. I'm like, damn, they are what I'm looking for. Even if you see something from afar that is the color you're looking for, like, give it a closer inspection. If someone knows the name of this mushroom, please do tell me in the comments. Ooh la la. Let's see here. Yeah. There's a big one behind, and a smaller one, which I'll leave. Ooh. There's a big and beautiful one. Yoink. Yeet. Ooh. Oh, someone's been eating here. Let's have a closer look. So as you can see, these are actually bitten off, the big ones. Or someone just that came by and picked them didn't pick them properly. I shouldn't have picked that actually. But these are big enough. Yeah. Nice. So now we know there's another cluster growing here. For those of you wondering, like, I've definitely found that very green mossy area, and then as well with a little bit of leaves, that's where you'll find the winter chanterelles. Of course, don't take that as a rule. You can definitely find them in other spots as well. But just in my experience from this area, it feels like they grow quite well in these conditions. Also, make sure to look where you're going, like look up every once in a while, unless you're in an open area. Because I just got hit by a branch in the face and it hit me right about here, almost pierced my eye, so that could have been really bad. So do be careful. And if any of you know the name of this mushroom, do tell me the name of that as well. That might actually be the one that we saw earlier, but I don't know if it's edible, but it looks so big and tasty, so I hope it is. I hope one of you guys can tell me. Well, I found another little path after walking from my spot, which is beyond the trees over there. And I feel like this might just lead to another good mushroom spot. It seems to be quite a nice long walk through the woods. And it turns out I was right. I've found a new spot. And they're all quite big here, so I don't think anyone's been picking them. Ooh. Now this is a big winter chanterelle. They usually don't get this big. Let's see here. I'll pick this one, but leave those two. And then pick all of these. Jeep. Ooh. There we go. Get some of that buzz out. Alright, so I just kind of have to memorize the location of those. They are like big enough to be picked, but if nobody else is picking here, I feel like I might as well, let them grow a little bit. There's that tiny one, leaving that. And then over here, there's more. I think I'm going to have to be very careful with where I put my feet. Haven't stepped on any? No. Alright. Here's some more. This goes to show that you really have to be careful, because I'm on my way up this hill. I took that step, and then I took that step, and then I looked down, and who's here? And who's there? And who's there? I could have stepped on them, but I didn't step on a single one. I was really lucky. Well, I made it up, and I found the view that I was looking for. And that red house over there is where I need to go now, but it's not so simple, sadly, as going straight down. So I'm gonna have to find a way. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I really enjoy, picking mushrooms. It's one of my favorite things to do out here. We did get quite a lot today, so I'm happy about that as well. If you ended up liking the video, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe and comment any project suggestions, and let me know if you want to see that famine foods project in the future. Peace.